You are listening to Breaking the Fourth Wall on Realm of the Mist Entertainment. Hey, what's up, guys? Chris Stolle here for Breaking the Fourth Wall, and I am joined by Marilyn Ghigliotti. Marilyn,
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Excellent. Well, look, for everybody who doesn't know, you've been waiting for this interview for a while. I've promoted that I was going to be interviewing Marilyn, and unfortunately, the video has taken forever to come out because when we did the first interview, and I say first interview because I have already interviewed Marilyn, something glitched in the Matrix. So as I'm going to edit the video to be able to upload it to YouTube, I discovered there is absolutely zero sound. None. You don't hear me talking. You don't hear Marilyn talking. It was nothing. It was just dead silence for 29 minutes.
So, was there video?
No, no, because I was doing it in audio podcast only form.
Got it.
And there was no video, so blah, everything was gone. I had to tuck my tail between my legs and message Marilyn and said, "Would you mind me interviewing you again?" And luckily, she was gracious enough to go ahead and say, "Well, you know what? You were kind of a goofball and an idiot last time, but sure, we'll go ahead and do this again."
I didn't say that.
So we'll call this take 2. I will say this much in the interview: I do have the description and everything set up for when I release the video on YouTube and all, and I do already have your GoFundMe and your Indiegogo set up to be able to put in the description, so that way, as we'll talk about in any interview, that people could go click on those links to be able to donate and support the projects that are up and coming.
Nice, thank you.
So let's start things off the way we normally start off an interview. Go ahead and tell everybody about yourself. You are an actress, director, writer, producer.
I did write something, but I wouldn't consider myself a writer. Not really, but yes, actor. I've directed already, producer, hair and makeup artist, photographer. So a lot of hats.
Jack of all trades.
Gotta be out here, you know. It's California does not make it easy. You've got to wear the many hats. You have to do many things to just be able to afford to live out here.
Right.
Keep a roof over your head, and feed yourself and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, keep busy.
Unfortunately, it is kind of like the center of the entertainment universe, but unfortunately, it's just you have to pay to play.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, for most people, they would obviously recognize you from the movie Clerks, but you have a full IMDb of so many other things you've been involved with. Why don't you go ahead and give us a little taste of some of the other things that you've done, especially that you're most proud of?
Well, I don't. I'm one of those people that I do not like to pick out any one particular thing. I don't have a favorite of anything because honestly, it's like I feel like it's too difficult to actually have to choose out of so many things.
Right.
To dwindle it down to one. And so I enjoy all the projects that I've worked on. Many independent films, in many capacities, especially if they're low budget independent films. You try to help out in whatever capacity that you can because there is only a very small crew for a lot of these projects. So even if I'm in there for hair and makeup, it's like, well, they need me to move something, I'll go and move it. And as long as I'm able to, and I'm not going to hurt myself or hurt the item, especially.
Right. Because somebody's time and effort went into creating it more than likely if it's a prop or a set.
Exactly.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that mindset. I mean, when you think about, again, I'm going to use a lot of Star Wars references because I'm a huge Star Wars geek, but I mean that's kind of what catapulted Harrison Ford's career. Was he did a little work for George Lucas on American Graffiti, but he wasn't in the role of Han Solo for Star Wars. He was the carpenter building sets, and he helped read lines to other actors.
Nice.
And in turn, that's what got him the Han Solo role. So it
Wow.
never hurts to do everything you possibly can.
Right. Exactly.
Because you never know when you're going to break into.
Right, and that's the thing too. A lot of films that you work on, you don't know where some of these people are then going to wind up. They could be just the background extra or the second or third AD or PA, but eventually they kind of wind up being people who may do something and get a name for themselves. So you just never know. It's always good to kind of. I'm bad at keeping in touch with people, but I don't make enemies.
That's definitely a great thing. Coming from the world of professional wrestling, burning bridges is absolutely a terrible. I can imagine it's that way in everything, but in pro wrestling, like, reputation is everything. So
Yeah.
if you burn your bridge, it'll follow you.
Oh yeah,
no matter
definitely.
where you go.
And as big as this business is, it's very small, and you do eventually wind up. It's like, oh, you know so and so. Oh, I know so and so. It's like, oh, you know that person too. Oh, wow, small world.
Right. Yeah. Even if you have no connection in any way, shape, or form, i.e., like you're an independent film actress, but not saying you do, but Marilyn Manson. You know what I mean? For just like an out of the blue name. It's like nobody would ever connect Marilyn with Marilyn. And it's like, but no, we're good friends.
Who know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, for those who don't know, you did start off as a stage actress. Did you keep up with that after breaking into film, or?
So once I moved to California, I didn't do as much stage, but I did some, and that's one thing as well with the several of, at that time anyway, acting some other people that I took acting classes with. We kind of got together and we put a stage to play together.
Okay.
It was a series of 3 one-acts that all kind of took place in a bedroom. So we put that together, and our acting coach, who just happened to be Richard Klein at that time, Three's Company's Larry.
Nice.
He directed the plays for us, and so we did pretty well. I mean, we did a small profit, but that was actually pretty good considering. Or I can't remember. It's like we either made a small profit or we broke even, which even still, I mean, in this day and age, to just break completely even, great. Because it was a couple weekends that we did it. And so that was actually fun to put together.
One thing I've gotten from the last interview I did with you and the conversation we're having now is one of the things I love about you, besides the fact that you're a very friendly and approachable person, is it really does seem like you have more of a love of the entertainment aspect than a love of wanting to be the next Keanu Reeves, for example, or live in the 15-car mansion. It's not about the money as much as it's about the art and making sure that the art gets out to the people.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I fell in love with acting, fell in love with being able to speak my word and actually have it, people interested in hearing what I have to say. Because I grew up as a middle child, and I think that should be enough said. I'm someone that I've never felt heard. I mean, it's actually still sometimes I don't feel heard. And in fact, the monologue that I did for Clerks it speaks to that effect, that
right.
I don't feel like anybody ever sees me or hears me. So yeah, I do love the aspect of entertaining, being someone whom I'm not, or being someone who I am, or finding that person within me. It's not to say that I will work for free.
No, I wasn't trying to.
I will not. I did that at one point. I did it enough, and and I'm still at a point in my life that I'm struggling to survive.
Right.
So yeah, this person doesn't do free anymore.
Right. I didn't want to imply that you did, but I meant, yeah.
Absolutely not. No, but some people do. And by no means do I want to be that millionaire, that I'm looking to work that I'm comfortable.
Right.
That I don't have to worry about the next paycheck. So, I mean, it's not about the money. It's not about the fame. It's about being recognized for what I do and people wanting to hire me for their next project.
Well, definitely recognition is definitely a key thing, and I don't think you're as ignored as maybe the middle child is telling you, because again, when Steve Joyner, the publicist who works with Realm of the Mist Entertainment, who was the one that introduced me to you, he told me, yeah, I've got Marilyn Ghigliotti, I could get her on your show too, and my first thought is, Veronica from Clerks? Oh, hell yeah! You know what I mean? Like, I know typecasting is like a terrible word for actors and actresses, but at the same time, I also look at it as a double-edged sword. Nobody's ever going to forget Veronica.
Well, thank you. No, but I mean, I get many of people saying, it's like, Marilyn, it's like, you're Veronica, you're this. It's like, look, I get that. I understand that. But it's like, you have to see it from my perspective.
Right.
I see what's out there. I am in no way belittling what role I play in this.
Right.
But in no way as well am I saying that it's going to be more than it actually is. I'm a realist,
right?
And I know from my perspective where I sit, as I say, on the totem pole. I don't know. It's like that's the best way that I can say it. There are I see things that where I'm left out and where. Just like for conventions, the promoters don't see the value in bringing me to meet the fans as much as I would like it to be. It's like, and I get that, for them, it's about making money. It's for everybody. It's about making money. They want to be able to know that they're going to see a return in their investment walk through that door. But the simple fact of the matter is, it's like as much as I try to get myself or any of us, any actor tries to go to conventions, it's not up to us. It's up to the promoters.
Right.
So, whenever I have people come to me and ask me, it's like, oh, go here, go there. And I'm like, I'd love to. I really would love to. Like, but it's not up to me.
Right.
It's up to the promoter.
Okay. Well, I promised you in the first interview, I'm keeping that promise this time around too. I'm not going to just harp on the Clerks thing, but I mean,
oh, I'm you know what? But not to cut you off there. It's
no, please.
That's part of my life. I'm not one of those actors where it's like, I don't want to talk about this. It's like, no, I'm fine with that. That is what created this.
Right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have this.
Right. Oh, that's where I was going with it. Is how you feel that no matter what goes on from this point forward in your career, that you will always be one of the six main characters of a cult classic film that, it's very polarizing. There's either people that absolutely love it or people that absolutely hate it because of the dialogue, the vulgarity, the subject matter. But in the overall terms of it, it really is a low-budget independent film that became a true cult classic. And you are a part of that. Yeah.
And I think at this point, it's more beyond a cult classic at this point.
That's fair.
because at one point is it a cult classic, and at one point is it what's the word I want to use? Darn it. I can't think of the word, but yeah, it's part of history. It's
Right.
classic or whatever, or just even a classic. But there's another word I want to use. I can't think of it because this brain just doesn't work all the time anymore.
I was thinking underground phenomenon was the first word I wanted to use before cult classic, because it really was a as we described before, and people know if they ever watched Shooting Clerks or the Clerks 10 DVD, whatever the case may be. It really was a little to no budget film shot by a guy who sold his comic book collections after he dropped out of film school to make a film about working at a convenience store, and he damn near basically just hired friends or whatever, because he couldn't afford a full-on budget. I mean, the film was made for what, $23,000? I think was the total.
I think it was actually just over 27,000, something like that.
Okay, 27,000. And at first it was loved by critics from what I understand, but like or not critics, but fans, but like the film industry itself hated it. Especially Weinstein.
Well, not who counted though. Siskel and Ebert. They actually liked the film, and so that was pretty good.
That is pretty good.
That when the review was coming out by Siskel and Ebert, I was on pins and needles, like, oh my god, are they gonna love it or hate it? And then they even pronounced my name right, so I was like, nice, okay.
Well, from the stories that I heard about Clerks, and this will be the last thing before we move on here on that. I will state this, and this is the one I didn't do it in the first interview because I promised I wouldn't mention 37. But we are talking about how the film finally took off, got picked up by Miramax and Dimension and all, which of course was Harvey Weinstein. And the story that I understand it is Harvey came to Cannes and everything else to see Clerks, and he would always walk out during the argument about the anti-smoking, because at the time Harvey was a heavy smoker. And somebody, I think it was Bob Hawke, finally got him in there one time to sit him down. It's like, look, you are not allowed to get up and leave until you hear the number 37. So when it got to
I did not hear that story. I mean, I knew that he had walked out during the first screening, and that somebody did get him into this, to watch it. That's like that he had to sit down and watch it and give it a chance. But I didn't know that it was that.
Well, from the documentaries I watched, it was that point where he was told you're not allowed to leave till you hear 37. Okay. And at that point, when 37 hit, the loudest person laughing in the theater was Bob. And from there, it was like, there's the show. So I know 37 follows you like a bad rain cloud sometimes, but it's got to feel good that kind of Clerks did take off because of really you. your joke.
I don't know about that. I won't take credit for that, because I mean, Kevin is the one that actually wrote it.
True, very true.
But lost my train of thought.
That's all right. But as you're thinking about what you're trying to say, I'll go ahead and move this forward a little bit here to modern day. The last time we talked, you were telling me about a film project that you were working on with some other people, and an idea that kind of mixed with an idea that you had for yourself. You guys will see in this video, in the description down below, there are links to an Indiegogo and a GoFundMe page. Guys, donate to this. I'm going to get Marilyn to talk about it now. This is an interesting project. I definitely want to be a part of it as far as like donating myself. As a matter of fact, yesterday was payday, so I can actually donate to it. So, I'm going to donate to it myself, and I want to see this created. Go ahead, Marilyn. Tell us about your new project.
Yeah, so I am involved with a group of eight other people, but we call ourselves Friends Who Film. and we formed the group back in 2017.
Okay.
And basically, in January of 2017, I had just gotten back from shooting a short film in Utah, and for several years, I had been thinking, it's like, okay, I wanna start directing. I want to go that step further now.
Right.
And I'd had an idea for a short film for a good portion of my time that I've been living out here in California, and I've been here 22 years now. But before digital, there was just there was no way I was going to be able to make it.
Right.
And then once digital came out, as more affordable as things are to do now, it still takes money.
Right, of course.
And I've never been very well off financially, especially out here. So, yes, then crowdfunding came out, but it was something that I just found very difficult to do. I'm one of those people that I find it very difficult to ask for help of any kind.
Right.
But especially money. And I've found myself in situations where I've had to do that. But for the past few years, it's like, okay, I know I can really do this short film for, almost nothing. But that nothing is still a few $1,000s.
Right.
And I'm like, I really don't want to beg for money. No, I can't do it. I can't. And then after seeing so many crowdfunding projects, being done and doing other people's short films, finally I just said to myself, F it. Get over yourself, do the crowdfunding. So I started just doing my homework. I talked to someone who's done crowdfunding. It was doing my pre-production. It's like, what was I going to need? What was I going to do? It's like, I've got some people that I already know. I have a DP that I've worked with before on other shorts or feature-length films with other people and stuff, friends. It's like, all right, I'll get in touch with him, see how much because I will not. Here's the other thing. I did not want to do my project without paying people. I didn't want to do it on favors.
Right.
Yes, it wouldn't have been what they would be worth, but at least the minimum of what's out there on as far as like union and stuff like that. The bare minimum.
Right.
So I started doing that. I was 2 weeks in when I had these friends of mine contact me and say, we'd like to talk to you about some projects that we have going on. It's like, okay, great. So they were forming this group. It wasn't called Friends Who Film at that time. There was no name to it. But we've got these shorts. We're going to be doing them. And they're an anthology series. And we'd like you to be involved in 3 of them as an actor. It's like, great, okay. And I told them what I was doing. I was like, well, just bring it on board, and we'll add it to the mix.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, okay. I read all their scripts. I really liked their scripts. And so we just kept meeting. We had a weekly meeting, and we just kind of set up the process of our names and all this kind of stuff. And we set up the crowdfunding. But it's been a long process.
Right.
It's already been a year since we did the crowdfunding, and last December we didn't get a whole heck of a lot of money, but we got enough to shoot 3 of the short films that we had of the scripts, and one of them I directed.
Okay.
Was written by one of the other members. Her name's Shelby Lee, and she didn't have anybody attached as far as directing. She didn't want to direct it herself because she wrote it for herself. And so I was like, I'll direct it. I loved the script, and I'm like, okay. So then, we've got 2 others. Now, ideally, we were supposed to shoot my short with two others, but I lost my lead actor at the time because he then got another job that actually paid a hell of a lot better than what I was able to give him.
Right.
And it was I think it was a Marvel thing.
Okay.
Although I believe that it was canceled.
Ooh.
So I'm not going to say what it was or anything like that. But but once we shot those 3, we had no money to edit anything. Even though someone gave us a pretty good deal, it's still, it was going to be quite a bit of money for each short to be edited. I mean, from sound, putting it together, color correction, music, it was,
right.
It's going to be a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
But now we found someone who's going to give us an even better deal. One of the group members was working with this guy in a post-production house that does electronic press kits.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called. I'm bad at that. And so they both lost their jobs, and so here's an editor who kind of needs a job. He's like, I'll do it, So it's like, okay, great. So that process is going to be starting pretty soon. In some respects, sometimes I wonder, it's like maybe I should have just stuck to me doing my project and just been involved in theirs as an actor, and just concentrated on mine, because I feel like mine would have been out already.
Right.
It would have probably done festivals, and then I could have gone on, because the purpose for doing or directing a short film is I have a full-length film that I want to direct, and that's where I really need someone to come in with some money. And I'm like thinking to myself, well, who's going to give me money? I've never directed anything before.
Well, I mean, at the same time, though, if the story's there, I imagine somebody will buy it if you shop it to the right person. I don't know the story. I don't know the script or anything like that. In fact, I was going to ask about the short stories. That was going to be my next question. Was it, without spoiling anything, if you can give some details of some of what the shorts are about for people that may donate? But with the full length,
there's actually a description about the shorts on the Indiegogo page.
Okay.
Each of the shorts has a quick little description or synopsis of what it's about. They're like the title of it and then what it's about.
Okay, well, you guys can check out the Indiegogo in the link in the description down below to be able to check out what the shorts of the films are going to be. Obviously, spoiler free. They don't want to give away the plot, but
well, and they're all right. It's like there's 8 short films or 9.
Right. And they all interconnect in some way, even though they're independent stories. Even that's
misleading. They don't interconnect at all.
Oh, okay.
They're anthologies. They all stand alone. It's just they all have a theme to them, and that's a handwritten letter.
Okay. So that's the connection I was misunderstanding. It wasn't that the whole entire story kind of interconnects, but there's there's one, for lack of a better term, there's one MacGuffin that kind of ties all these together in some way, shape, or form.
Well, but no, it's not even the same letter. It's again.
Right, it's just a letter.
A letter.
Okay.
To each story.
Okay. That's definitely neat. That's definitely neat. But can you tell us anything about the full-length project you want to do?
So this is something that I've actually optioned from another writer.
Okay.
And there have been times because I took a 3-year option on it. And in the 2.5, a little over 2.5 years that I've had it, it's like there have been times where it's like, oh, okay, no. But all I can say, it will not be anything that anybody will have thought that I would attach myself to, because it's a pretty heavy piece. Okay. It deals with child molestation, domestic violence, so very, very light pieces.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like a romantic comedy.
Yeah, But the thing that drew me to this was that back in 2013, I believe it was.
Okay.
I auditioned for a reading of this script. At that time, it was something very personal and very, very much that I connected with because of what had happened in my life not too long before that. So I was very drawn to it. And the person who put the reading together, they did attempt to produce it as well, but nothing ever came of it. And so I had told the writer, because I wanted something unique, something very special for me to be able to direct, and that just happened to be it. And so I told the writer, it's like, look, if this becomes available, I'd like to be able to be the one to do it.
Okay.
And so we put a contract together, and so it's like, but it's quickly running out, that option, you know.
Well, let me ask you. I know money is a major issue to begin with, but ideally, for the roles, because obviously, besides somebody to write the script and to find, I don't really know the movie business that well, so it may sound like I'm more talking out my rear end than know what I'm talking about here. But I know there's a lot of processes and a lot of deals as far as like promotion, about selling it to studios to release it or whatever the case may be. But the main thing that brings a story together is the people that you put in front of the camera, the actors, the actresses, the people who bring the characters to life. Is this a film, in your opinion, is this a film where you would want, like, name actors and actresses, people that people would recognize, or is this one of those films where, because of the subject matter and the story itself, like, you would really love to get some unknowns to really drive home this being like an everyday type story? Right.
Well, a couple things on that, because yes, you do want some notable actors. Now the other singular problem, if you want to call it that, with the feature is it's not a feature for theatrical release. It's more of a Lifetime movie.
Right.
Of deal. And after I had it for about a year, I realized this. Because I was thinking, it's like, all right, getting a theatrical release, it's going to be a little bit difficult for this, but I'm like, okay, it's a possibility. But a friend of mine, he just happened to be in a Lifetime movie, and I've seen Lifetime movies before on Hallmark channels and all that kind of stuff, but it's like, after seeing him in that, I'm like, oh my God, this is the venue for that.
Right.
So I think that made it a little bit easier, but even still, though, I haven't gone to Lifetime because the thing is, they may want to do it themselves.
Right.
They may not want me to direct it. So they may just buy it outright. And I'm like, well, or they may wait till the option runs out and then go straight to the director. But I don't know. They may or may not do this, and they may not even like it or want it. I don't know. But I just feel that that's actually the perfect venue. So I have kind of gone through the IMDb and looked at certain people, because this is also I'm trying to make it a diverse piece as far as ethnic boundaries and stuff like that, because that's the way it was written, and I want to keep it that way.
Right.
At a certain point, I thought about, well, maybe I'll do one of the lead actors on there, but I don't want to direct an actor. It's like I'll either do one or the other, and so I want to just put my director hat on there, and but I definitely want to get some, maybe not even well-known, because I don't know if I'll be able to afford well-known, but maybe semi-known.
Right.
And coming kind of a thing.
And kind of intermix it with unknowns in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Okay. Well, I definitely want to know, and I'm going to say definitely for Realm of the Mist Entertainment, I would love for you to come back and keep us abreast. And of course, you have an open invitation anytime you want to come.
Thank you.
You know. But we are wrapping up on time. So the biggest thing, last time we had a conversation, I gave you the off the wall questions. I don't have them, so we're not doing them. In fact, I'm gonna do it this way for you. I think this would be a lot better. Now, your life has been surrounded into the acting business, and even though you haven't had the as some people would call it, the quote, and I'm using quotations for those listening to the audio podcast, the big break, if you will, into mainstream Hollywood, you've enjoyed a very fruitful acting and directing and being a part of the film industry career. What advice would you give to those looking to get into the film industry?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. Because a lot of people look at it as a place to get fame and fortune, but it shouldn't be about that. And then when they see that, they just go head in without thinking of what it is that they need to know to become an actor and to be working in this field, whether it be on stage or whether it be on set in front of a camera. You just got to train. You got to do the homework, got to figure out what it is out there that they have to do, what your headshots are, what they should look like and what they shouldn't look like. And I'm not saying that they have to go to college for this either, because I feel honestly that going to college is putting yourself in extreme debt that I don't think is really necessary to become an actor. Right. There are a lot of actors out there, acting coaches that offer better training that you're going to get in college. But I feel if you feel like you have to go to college, make sure that you make marketing one of your at least minor.
Right.
Because the thing that we have to do as actors, a majority of the time, is market ourselves. And so many of us don't know how to do that. I'm going to be the first to admit, it's like I fall short on that a lot. So, I mean, train, and do the homework and learn what it is that we got to do to be in this business, because it's pure luck anyway.
I think that's the big thing. I used to tell that to people when I trained them for professional wrestling. You have to go through at minimum 6 months of extraneous training, and of course we call it paying your dues with like the setup and tear down of the ring and shows and stuff. But the biggest thing I used to tell my students is be happy when you get your first match. That you are now a professional wrestler, but if you're in here to try to make it to the WWE and the six figures a year and national television every single day, you're in for a disappointment, because unless you're something special, you are one of about 10 million in the world looking for the exact same brass ring.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's a disappointment. It's more of a rude awakening.
Right. It's that it's no shot on how talented you are or aren't, or how marketable you are or aren't. It sometimes it does come down to just being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, right now, look, as an actor, and again, this comes down to the marketing. It's like if we go on auditions, or if we're looked at by casting and production. Not even so much casting, but production itself. They go to social media. They look at the numbers that are following us, and they will cast based upon your social media following. So if I've only got 5,000 people and I knocked it out of the park in that audition, but this other person who's like, well, she was all right, but she has 1 million followers, guess who's getting it?
See, I don't agree with that, because I think
I don't either, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the reality of the world, is its marketability. But I would almost think the best idea isn't so much that. And again, this is why I'm not in the film industry. is quality over quantity. I would rather somebody who serves the story.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah, but what do I know?
it's not that. It's just, what is fair in this world?
Exactly. But you know what, Marilyn? I feel absolutely, totally blessed because I got to interview you twice. And
Thank you.
part of me is almost glad the first one didn't work out. So that way I got this opportunity to do it again. Thank you.
You know what? I feel like this was so much better.
Well, I appreciate that, especially since it was on the fly. But I definitely.
Yeah. Even on my part too. It's like I felt like I was just, I don't know. It was not working on my end.
All right. So outside of the links down below, the Indiegogo, and God, it tongue tie every time I want to say that, Indiegogo and the GoFundMe pages. Where can everybody find you or find information about your projects if they want to get in contact with you or if they'd like to help in some way, shape, or form?
So I am on Instagram, Marilyn Ghigliotti. I'm on Twitter, that Clerks Girl, and my Facebook is Marilyn Ghigliotti fan page.
All right, and of course, guys listening, thank you very much for joining us. You could subscribe, thumbs up, share this video out, comment down below. If you got some questions you want to ask Marilyn, please leave it in the comment sections down below. I'll make sure she gets them. I will hopefully have her back on again sometime soon. Maybe we'll even read them on air live. But also, I have been passing her contact information around to some of my other buddy podcasters who, as I stated in the first video, as soon as I stated I was interviewing Veronica, they were all like, "Oh, you lucky bastard!" So when Marilyn and I first contacted for the first interview, I told her about that. She said, "Well, tell them they can interview me and set up an appointment." So I shipped it off.
Nothing to contact.
So I shipped it off to a couple of my buddies. They're gonna, if they haven't already, they're going to be contacting me. So hopefully, you'll be hearing a lot more from Marilyn. But guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out all the other great podcasts of Realm of the Myths Entertainment, either here on YouTube or at Anchor.fm or wherever quality podcasts can be heard. Again, Marilyn, thank you so much.
Thank you, Christopher.
I hope you have a very blessed day. And guys, we will catch you on the next Breaking the Fourth Wall.